Mr. Romain and Mr. Chairman of the self-help, I am hearing of the process and procedures that you are putting in place, right? And I have 404, as far as my records go, my office records go, 404 applications for self-help that we have attempted to follow up over the last year and a half. And we have had no responses. We have had, they come back to our office to ask what's happening. And these are mixed from persons who are applying for the routine things like, an extension to their homes, bathrooms, toilet, roof repairs, and so on. But then there are many which are the emergency cases like fires, and there are cases like landslips close to homes and so on. Many of them are all over a year and a half, which I feel that there's something here. And I'll be happy to provide this data to Mr. Romain or even to the chairman of the committee at some point in time, where some response to my office could come back on another channel. But what I want to ask in terms of this question, in 2021, Mr. Chairman, we had somewhat of some very, very high winds that knocked off quite a bit of our constituents' roofs in Mayaro. And my records have 25 of them that have been approved, or 43 went through disaster management unit. And my understanding is that 25 fit the criteria for some support. But that is September 2021. And up to this day, as far as our records indicate and communications with those 25 persons, no grants have been forthcoming. And I want to be very careful what I'm going to say without putting myself in any trouble. There is the perception out there that there's preferential treatment. I want to use that word very, very nicely in terms of which areas get service. And to the people of Mayaro, when they read on the newspaper, and I want to quote this newspaper, right, from the self-help, the Newsday, Trinidad Newsday, the 8th of September, which is about 4 days after that heavy wind. Self-Help Commission distributes over $3 million in grants. 330,000 to 22 families in Arima. 52 recipients in Mount Hope. 52 families along the East-West corridor. This is CNC3 News. And this is the 8th of September. National Commissions for Self-Help distributes 255,000 in grants to 17 families in the Aruka Maloney constituency today, 21st of September, about a week or two after the roofs were blown off. So my question is, what can you tell those 25 families in Mayaro? Why, clearly, in some areas, these grants are processed within 5 and 6 days, and we are over 1 year. How can you rationally tell the people of Mayaro to wait a bit longer? How can you explain that? Anybody could answer that question.
Site visits in September of 21, just days after. What our records reflect is that we conducted about 54 site visits. As of July of this year, 35 of those that were on the list submitted to us for an update were not even registered on our database. So, and that goes back to what Mr. Romain would have indicated, where we may have given the application forms to the clients, but they would not have fulfilled their end of the bargain in terms of bringing in those applications. But I'm just saying to you, Vice Chair, respectfully, that's what our records would have reflected on those applications. However,
Mr. Winter, I want to respectfully tell you that our office is very meticulous with those forms, right? And even so, if I give you the benefit of the doubt that the applications were not done, it was done incorrectly, why? It is still over 1 year when you have evidence that, and I doubt the people of other constituents are more efficient than we here in Mayaro, that in 4 days an application can go in and you can get the grant. So all I'm asking going forward, Mr. Winter, as I said, your organization is absolutely important, especially for rural communities where you have indigent, you have poor people, and I mean, many of these homes that are damaged, these people are if they may not be squatting, they may have given a blight by a neighbor, a friend, a neighbor, somebody to build something, and in times of the destruction, the roof blow away, they need help. But, how can we, as MPs, representatives of the people, help this process along? Because we would walk through, we would be calling the DMU. We will make sure the DMU turn up on the site, get the reports. If the person comes to our office and say they're getting a run around from the DMU, I will call the chairman of the corporation and say, look, expedite it, because I know self-help needs some time to process these applications. But from July 2021, we are in November 2022. And I cannot believe, and I will not accept, that not one out of those 25 applications could be processed. And I doubt very much that one out of that 25 application hasn't been correctly done to get a grant. And I'm going to leave it there, because I wanted to raise this matter, coming back to, tied back to the performance of the organization, how important it is, especially in a time now where our economy is struggling. There's a high amount of joblessness. The cost of food is so high, every cent counts. And when these grants are given to those people, it puts their children into school, which is already under serious, tremendous trouble with a failing education sector. So I will leave it there. And I would like the opportunity to send this data that I have from Mayaro to Mr. Romaine, who I've interacted with in the past, very noble, understanding gentleman, and I will continue to work with him. But just for the record, I just want to make sure that this is how the people of Mayaro, and I'm sure of many other areas, see the challenges. And at the end of the day, they are hurting. And no matter what problems you are having, they are still hurting. And we need to fix that. And it is our job as this committee to understand why this is happening and make the relevant recommendations to the relevant minister and ministry. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll pass on to one of my other colleagues.